Okay. So currently right now I am stirring together 4 cups of crushed strawberries, a package of the no sugar needed pectin, which because this is a jam, they actually suggest that you add sugar, but it is optional. Because Josh enjoys sweeter things, I'm actually going to go ahead and put the sugar in. So I've added 1 cup of sugar, just white crystallized. So this is 4 cups of mashed strawberries, a cup of sugar, and the package of like pectin or whatever. The store was completely sold out of all regular pectins. You had to go with the no sugar one. I tend to get the no sugar one anyway because you use a lot less sugar per recipe, but I'm also going to add some fruit juice. They recommend a cup of fruit juice for this recipe. So I'm just getting this all dissolved together. I don't have the heat on yet. I just wanted to get all the powders mixed in. And I have some homemade grape juice from a neighbor who brought us grapes last year. It's been in my freezer because I use it little bit by little bit. So it is currently running under cold water to get it thawed out so we can add it to this recipe. So one of my favorite winter snacks is dried strawberries. They're just a fun little dried fruit to eat. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just slicing up some strawberries to put in the dehydrator. I'll probably do 2 different rounds. I anticipate it'll take 2 or 3 days for a batch to dry out. I usually just set it at the highest setting. Dehydrating takes a lot of the nutrition out, so I don't do it as much as other options like freezing or canning, depending on what I'm putting up. But I just really enjoy the treat of dehydrated strawberries. What I'm slicing these up for currently, I'm just slicing them a bit thin, but not perfectly, and then we'll lay them out and get them going on the dehydrator. And one thing that I absolutely love about strawberries as they dehydrate, to me they smell like cotton candy. The sugar content, I guess, changes, and because the water's being absorbed and stuff, and oh my goodness, it's like your whole house smells like cotton candy. So yeah, so I'm gonna do a nice big batch of these, and then the rest of these strawberries are then gonna be used for the whole strawberries in their own syrup. So I'm just getting as much of these as I need for dehydrating, and then the rest will go for that. Just getting my second pot for the exact same recipe set up next to it. I'm doing them in 2 separate batches because what I was reading in the instructions is it says not to double a batch together because it can mess up the setting of the gel and everything for the jam. So I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to follow the instructions. So I've got 1 batch here and the exact same thing going in this pot. So it's 4 cups of mashed strawberries, a cup of sugar, and 1 package of the pectin stuff, and then I'm gonna add a cup of juice to each of these as well. And then we're gonna get them turned on and get them nice and hot. So these are grape juice jars of grape juice that I canned last year. So these are not canned like pressure canned or water bath canned. I wanted to keep them with as much nutritional value as possible, and so I didn't want to heat them at all. So what I was reading online is an option, instead of heating them to pressure can or water bath them, is to freeze them. So all I did last year was I ran it through an attachment on my KitchenAid that pressed the juice out, and I kept putting the grapes through until I wasn't getting more juice out. I threw the discarded grapes over to my chickens, which they had a heyday with, and it produces eggs, so it all stays in the cycle. And then I poured these jars full of grape juice and I stuck them in my freezer. What I love to do with them, for the most part, I'm not a huge juice drinker, neither is Josh. It's too sweet for me, and Josh just goes for water most times. So what I like to do is we have a seltzer water machine. So I make some bubbly water, and then I add in just a little bit, like just a tiny little spits of this, a little bit of this in there, a little pour, maybe 2 tablespoons max in a big mason jar to drink. And so it just adds a little bit of fruit and flavor and a little bit of sugar. These are pretty tart. If I did it with strawberries or something else, then I think it would be a lot sweeter. So maybe I should make strawberry juice next. Anyway, not this batch. So I'm going to add a cup of grape juice to each recipe as my instructions call for, and then we'll get them heated. The recipe actually does call for a cup of unsweetened juice, which this is perfect. There's 1 cup. There we go. And I've spilled some, so I'm gonna get it cleaned up fast because it does stain stuff. So I made a boo-boo and I put the sugar in before I started heating. You're supposed to bring it up to a rolling boil and then add your sugar. It's too late now, it's all stirred in. I can't get the sugar out, and I'm definitely not throwing this out. We're just gonna bring it up to a boil and be stirring, and hopefully it'll still set up. So, gotta read the instructions clear. welcome to my pantry. Sorry the lighting is a little crazy in here, but I was just going to tell you what I've been doing. So I try to practice when I'm canning the first in, first out method. So what I did was I pulled out all of my strawberries that I canned in water and sugar syrup last year. I pulled those out and then got the new ones tucked in the very back corner, and I try to work right to left because of the way my pantry is set up. And so basically that way the oldest jars will get used up first. So I ended up having 2 extras that don't fit of the oldest berries that still need to be used. So I'll probably put them down here in this space because this is going to start filling out soon because this is for green beans. But for now we'll leave them here. But basically what I've done all year with my canning is as we empty out jars, I put them back in their spot and I kind of labeled everything. And what I have found, this really helps me get an idea of how much I need of what. So last year, this area was all green beans in this little section under here. And what I found was we ran out of green beans in like January. We eat a lot of green beans. So as I filled it back up, I put all of my empty jars back in those spaces so that I just know, okay, I need to fill all of these jars with green beans. But I actually decided to go ahead and add this section up top. And this year we're gonna be doing a lot more quart-sized jars full of green beans because I can eat a pint-sized jar all by myself. I'll just eat that for lunch. Sometimes I either saute them or I'll just cook it up and put a little butter in it. And that's my whole lunch. Absolutely love it. So what I found is a pint jar sometimes will only just feed me if I'm eating it for a meal. So a quart jar, I can get enough servings for Josh and I to have green beans with a meal for dinner time, and then I'll eat the other half of it for lunch the next day. And then that will also save on canning lids this year, as they're 35 cents a piece. No thanks. So anyway, that's been my method for organizing this year. Then I know I've got all the jars that I need, and if any have broken, and I check for chips and that kind of stuff. Sometimes they crack when you're processing jars. Then I can just go and be like, okay, I need this many pint jars, this many quart jars kind of thing, and but pick them up from the store accordingly. So yeah, so first in, first out. So the oldest strawberries will get eaten first. And I didn't do as many jars of canned strawberries this year as you might see, because I already had several left from last year. I know I used them, but I used them slower, so I don't want to like put way too many in. I like having stuff that I don't necessarily use all the time because it's just nice variety. And the nice thing about canning food and preserving it is it lasts a really long time. We're going on, this canned pumpkin is 3 years old, and occasionally I crack it open and make a pumpkin pie, and it is totally fine, and I never have an issue with it. I always just smell everything, check it over, make sure I don't see anything weird, but the seals are still good. So our pantry is still full. So yeah, so slowly refilling the pantry back up. This is one of my favorite times of year. It's also one of the most exhausting times of year, but a good kind of exhaustion. If all work made you tired like this but had the same results, then it would be exciting. So green beans are just starting to come in. I just harvested a bowl this morning. We'll probably just eat those fresh, honestly, this weekend because there's not quite enough to start canning yet, but I need to get a couple more plantings of green beans in. We have another planting that's about 3 weeks behind the one I'm picking from now, so it should start to produce soon. So yeah, slowly but surely we're gonna refill the pantry. Hey friends, I realized as I was editing this video that I did not kind of close the video out and wrap it up. So as you may be able to guess, this footage is about almost a month old now because strawberry season is basically done now as far as like the really fresh, I guess, picking and stuff. We're already enjoying the fruits of the fruit. But Josh and I got sick this month and I got really behind in videoing and editing, and we've missed putting out our weekly videos, and we do hope to get back onto that really soon. We're getting over it. Josh is now back to work and I am feeling mostly normal again, but still the energy level is a lot lower. So if you've had it, then you know it wears you out. So anyway, we're just thankful that it wasn't too bad go around for us, but it did kind of knock us back on some of our normal routines and stuff. So all that to say, we are going to be putting our videos back out again as normal, hopefully starting with this video with the strawberries, and we'll go from there. So the garden has exploded while we were sick. It was like record-breaking temperatures. I think in Canada, in several places, we hit like 103 Fahrenheit one day.
So luckily we were sick in bed, so we just laid in front of the air conditioner the entire time basically. But during that time the gardens exploded. Our tomatoes are massive from what you last saw on the vlog. The lavender bush is growing again and producing again, so everything is just kind of taken off. I did manage to harvest the garlic because I didn't want it to go in the ground, like stay in the ground and start splitting. So the garlic is harvested, and I got a little bit of footage for you, but again, was so tired that I didn't get very much. But we're going to show you what we did with our garlic. We're really excited, and that's what will be on the next video, is showing you about our garlic and maybe a little tour showing you what's exploded in the garden. We've got a lot of weeds to catch up on. Josh has just started mowing the grass again. But one thing at a time, we'll get back on board. Just real life with homesteading and getting sick. And I told Josh, I said, I feel like sickness should stay in the winter time and you actually have time to be sick. But this is life and it's okay. So anyway, thanks again for watching the vlog. Thanks for those who have stuck with us, even though our scheduling has been really inconsistent. We really appreciate you guys and the community that we've been forming through this channel, and can't wait to keep bringing you back every week and taking you along for our adventures. Until next time, have a great day.